Hey, all my Aries friends. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about Jupiter's retrograde in your third house, Gemini, from October 9th, 2024 to February 4th, 2025. This retrograde is going to start at 21 degrees, 20 minutes of Gemini, and it will retrograde back to 11 degrees, 16 minutes. This is going to be a review, a reevaluation, a new assessment, of the energies that you were feeling in July, mid-July, August, September, and even somewhat into October. But I really want to focus on the July, August energy. It feels like this is the most powerful. A lot of things happened in the United States in that period of time, involving the media, Gemini, involving journalism, Gemini, involving how we communicate. So we're going to get an opportunity to kind of feel, Jupiter rules expansion, and we have Saturn squaring Jupiter, which rules contraction. And while Saturn rules government and Saturn rules authority and Saturn rules restriction and limitation, we're going to see the themes that we saw in August when Jupiter was squaring Saturn retrograde. Now we're going to see Jupiter retrograde squaring Saturn direct in December. And this is going to be felt all the way into January. We're going to have this square. I'm looking at about a 5-degree orb. So as it ramps up and then as it steps away, there's this almost like a month period of time where things feel very tense. Now, we know that the United States inauguration takes place in January. Again, this sort of plays to the idea of Jupiter ruling higher courts, in addition to foreign people, foreign places, higher education. I'm focusing in on business right now. I'm focusing in on philosophies and ideologies because that seems to be what is most on everybody's mind, at least right now as I'm filming this in October of 2024. So as we move through this Saturn energy, squaring Jupiter, we're also going to be feeling Jupiter sextiling Chiron in your first house. Chiron represents the wound that the soul brings into this experience to transform it, to extract the wisdom and the reward from it. Chiron being in your first house is about the wound about yourself. Now, Jupiter in Gemini is offering you specifically an opportunity to expand how you think about that. Jupiter is in detriment in Gemini, but I also believe that Jupiter is a world traveler. So while Jupiter doesn't necessarily get into the big details of things, it's more visionary energy. Here, Jupiter gets to relate to the everyday experience that the human walks through. And I think that the sextile to Chiron that will take place from October 9th all the way through till December, mid-December, will give an opportunity to revisit my individuality, how I assert myself, how I think about things, because communications is very much in play, but not just the communications with others. It's that interior conversation, the one that really sets the platform for your choices. We are going to see Saturn station direct in December. And this is when, again, the energy is going to get very intense because as Saturn changes direction, it's going to stand in the sky and feel as if it's rooting in, hands on hip. And this is very much going to play to history. The history of what has been, the history of what should continue forward, because this is the way it's always been. And it could inadvertently bring up a spotlight on what is actually either cracked or broken or doesn't really work. But because it's historic, it wants to be kept. It wants to move forward, but it doesn't want to shift. So this is all the things I think that are going to come up for you. You're going to be really thinking about how I assert myself in my business, because very much Jupiter rules business and commerce. And so many of us have platforms on the internet now where we make income, get resources, and the development of that moving forward, I think, is also going to be very much on your mind. So for my Aries, this, just to encapsulate this Jupiter retrograde, is really an opportunity to think about how you interact with others, the groups you want to interact with, your basic philosophies about how you want to. I guess I want to say it this way, because when we think about Gemini, I literally think about running my errands. I think about watching the television. I think about, getting up in the morning and looking at my emails and how I run my day. Jupiter's going to want to expand that into your dream sector. And as you assert yourself bravely through your Chiron sextile, you can start to set the pavers for that pathway. So you can start walking it. So when Jupiter moves direct and then ultimately moves into your fourth house of home in Cancer, where it will be exalted, you very much could feel a sense of balance. A healing has happened, some sort of reconciliation of whatever divine disruption led to the illumination. And the illumination could have a lot to do with how you feel restriction, oppression, how the man, whatever country you're in, whoever is running the governmental agencies, and how that affects you as an individual. And you may find yourself feeling a little bit willing to go into braver territories, first emotionally, then spiritually, and then physically taking action. Okay, that's it for an encapsulation of Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini. We will be revisiting the details of that in our weekly live on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I hope you'll join me then. In the meantime, please like, please subscribe, please share, and thank you so much for listening to this video. Have a lovely Jupiter retrograde.